Hi, it's Daphne. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing the Booktube Newbie Tag. So the first question is, why did you start this channel? So my channel isn't technically new. I've had it for a really long time, actually, like a handful of years, but I've only posted very infrequently on random topics I'm interested in, with focuses on hair and like school and things like that. But now that I'm working professionally for a long time, I'm living in Manhattan, and I've revived my love of reading, I am pivoting this channel to be more focused on books, and I'm still gonna include the other interests I have, but since I've pivoted this channel to have a priority of book content with my other hobbies in the secondary, I wanted to officially introduce myself on Booktube with this newbie tag. And hopefully you'll enjoy the videos I put out for you guys. I'm not typically one to just pigeonhole myself into one topic because I'm more of a jack of all trades type personality. So as my interest fluctuates, the secondary content on my channel might vary, but the primary content I hope to remain as books. The second question is, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? So me, I've been told by many of my friends and my fiance that sometimes I can be too honest. So you can always expect honest reviews from me, and hopefully you find them funny and enjoyable. I'm not always trying to be funny on purpose, but I do tend to make myself laugh in some of the things that I say, as you might notice in my videos, and I hope you have a good time with me as well. Also, I am primarily a romance reader. I love romance, though I have been discovering I don't love contemporary romance. Primarily like fantasy, paranormal, historical romances are my jam. Also, I am very uninterested in YA. So if you need a break from YA, if you feel like a lot of your favorite booktubers are always talking about YA and you just want to kind of take a break from the young adult, you can come to me because I will not be reading those books. There's like a 0.5% chance I will read a YA book. If I'm gonna read YA, it's probably not gonna be like a traditional book. It might be a comic or a manga. I mean, I'll watch like YA like on TV and Netflix and stuff like that, but I'm not interested in reading it, especially not interested in reading YA romances. It just doesn't go far enough for me. I am a grown woman and I am here for the steam and the love and the maturity, and not necessarily, you know, what YA is for, which is for young people and people who are interested in the development and like character arcs of becoming an adult and things like that. That is just something I've grown out of. I'm 27 and I am mainly focused on adult books. And then obviously every person on the internet, on YouTube, on Booktube are very unique. So if you like my vibe, if you like what I have to say, if you just like my voice and you wanna put me on while you're multitasking with other things, feel free to subscribe and hang out because that's what I have to offer, and I hope you enjoy it. Question number 3, what are you most excited for about this new channel, aka this new pivot to book content? Honestly, I'm most excited to get an audience that is interested in similar things to me, who want to have discussions with me, who are really interested to stick around. Like I said, I've been on YouTube for a little while, but because of the way I was doing content, it wasn't really attracting a community of people who wanted to stick around and get to know me and chat with me and with each other. It was more very searchable videos that they would just, you know, take what they need and then they would move on, which is totally fine. But I'm more excited to build an audience that is excited to go on this journey with me, be friends with me, and stay for the long run. Next question is, why do you love reading? I really thought about this question. So the main reason I love reading is because it's totally different than any other media. You can really dive in with the characters, you're in their heads, you feel their feelings, and you're just so enmeshed in the story. You're just so like deeply involved with these characters and how they feel, and you just can't get that in other forms of media, in my opinion. For example, like I said, I love a good historical romance, and I've been watching Bridgerton on Netflix, which has been a really, really fun time. Obviously that show is based off books, but it just feels different. Like them like being in each other's faces romantically, like feeling the tension. You can see it, but you can't feel it the same way you can in a book. And it feels less like spying. You know what I'm saying? Like when I'm watching it in the show, it feels like I'm spying on an intimate interaction, whereas when I'm reading it in a book, it's like I'm not really there. It's like they're truly alone and I'm just like experiencing it with them, but I'm not involved, you know, necessarily. So I like that I can feel the emotions more. I'm more enmeshed in the story, more enmeshed in the characters' brains. I hope I'm using the word enmeshed right, just like tangled up, more like one with the story, one with the people in the book. And I really enjoy that when it comes to reading. What book series got you into reading? So the first book I remember reading that really set off my romance kick was Kathleen Woodiwis's The Flame and the Flower. I read this probably early in my high school career. My mom had a copy of this book lying around the house, and I think it had to be the first historical romance I read, and I absolutely devoured it. I loved it. And then after that, I started going to the library and checking out as many historical romances I could read at one time. It was like 5+ books I would like fly through as fast as I could. And yeah, that really started my love for romance books. All right, the next question is, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? So obviously the first questions I would ask would be around, what advice do you have for someone kicking off in this community? And then would they like to hang out, do a buddy read, tag along on like whatever other community things that's going around? I would love to be involved, but I'm not pushy. I'm very like, I tend to keep to myself and stuff, but as this channel grows, maybe I will be able to, you know, do some cool stuff with other YouTubers out there. I also want to share some of my favorite booktubers with you. I will list them in the description so it's easier for you to find them. Obviously some of them are going to be really big names, but then maybe some of them you haven't heard of before. And a lot of these people I follow just because I like them as people. I might not necessarily have the same taste in books with them, but I enjoy hearing what they have to say, and they're just cool people. So here's that list. So I love Reagan from Peruse Project, Becca in the Books, Erin from Booked and Busy, Mina from Mina Reads, Jessica from Peace Love Books, Lacey from Lacey Book Lovers, Jess Owens, Meg with Books, The Book Leo, Book Rose, aka Chi, Mel Reads, Lexi from Lexi's Library, and Cassidy from Covers with Cassidy. So these are some of the people I've been watching for a while, or newer, smaller channels that I found recently that I enjoy supporting. The next question is, what challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? I think one of the hardest challenges to having a booktube channel is like this pressure to read like a ton of books each month or in each vlog. I am not interested into falling into that trap. I read at the pace I read, which might be 5 books one month, 10 books another month. It depends on which genre it's in. If it's romance, I'm gonna read it really fast. If it's something else that's a little out of my comfort zone, it's gonna take me a longer time to get through, which I don't want to feel like I have to read even faster just to produce content. I want to be more genuine to myself so I can fully enjoy the book and not feel like it's a chore or like a requirement or put this pressure on reading quickly. I want to be able to read the books I want because I'm mainly a mood reader, but I want to give myself that opportunity and put a little bit more priority on the books that have been on my TBR for the longest, because they tend to not be mood reads, but I'm still really interested in them. So those will take me longer to get through, and I don't want to force it. I'm just gonna be chill, okay? Okay, then it asks me, when did you start reading? So I've been reading for as long as I can pretty much remember. Obviously the first book I talked about getting me into romance was in high school, because that was like a mature genre of books. But before that, I remember in middle school being like in science class and wrapping up my whatever project at that time early, and I would just like leave class and go to the library to like look around and figure out which books I wanted to read. I particularly remember reading like The Uglies and probably like Divergent and Twilight, obviously, and things like that. And then even before that, when I was younger, I remember loving Dear Dumb Diary. I think that's what it was called, and just eating that book up too. I just felt like the girl was quite relatable, I guess, and it was a fun time. Just going to book fairs and stuff like that. So I've just been reading for as long as I remember. My mom's a bit of a reader, So I probably picked that up from her, and I don't remember a time when I wasn't reading. I remember times when I was reading like more aggressively than maybe other periods of time in my life. But yeah, I don't remember a time when I was like, oh wow, reading is fun. You know, like I just felt like I've always been reading. And then the next question is, what kind of books do you like to read? Like I said already, I love reading romance, particularly historical, fantasy, and paranormal. And I'm also open to reading books with plots that are like really compelling and like maybe thought-provoking and things that are gonna challenge me emotionally. I'm not super into self-help. I hate that probably. I mean, I'll read it if someone gives it to me to read. Oh, I'm sorry. But I do also like to read outside of that genre. I'm very open to trying new books. A lot of the books that I keep on my shelves are outside of the romance genre. I tend to read romance on my Kindle because I'll probably read it one time and then be done with it. I have to like really love a romance book to purchase it and keep it. Other genres outside of the romance category that I will read are typically fantasy or literary fiction, I guess you consider them. Things that are like character focused, have really compelling plot lines. I'm not really interested in horror or thriller or crime books or mysteries. Like I'm not really interested in those at all. I mean, if there's some elements of that, you know, it's fine, but I'm not like drawn to those things. Like I have Death on the Nile here. This is my first Agatha Christie book. I haven't read it yet, but I'm open to trying, but it's not something I gravitate towards. So that's it for this tag. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got to learn a little bit more about me as a YouTuber and as a reader. If you enjoyed, please give it a thumbs up and obviously subscribe if you want to hang out with me, and I'll catch you in another video. Bye!